Did Diddy's lawyers just defuse a federal bombshell? Or did prosecutors nail him as a criminal mastermind? Today's opening statements were jaw dropping. Stick with me because this is pure courtroom fire. Let's get straight into the electrifying opening statements from the Sean Diddy Combs federal trial that just dropped a few minutes ago. In a Manhattan courtroom that's already buzzing with tension, the prosecution came out swinging, calling Diddy a criminal kingpin, while the defense, well, they hit back hard, saying it's all about love, jealousy, and money, not crimes. These statements are the first punches in a high stakes legal slugfest, and we're breaking down every word, every accusation, and every counterpunch. No fluff, just raw courtroom drama. So buckle up because this is going to shake you to your core. Let's get into it. The prosecution, led by Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson, kicked off the May 12th trial with a 30-minute opening statement that was like a thunderbolt aimed at the jury of 8 men and 4 women. Johnson didn't waste a second, pointing at Sean Diddy Combs in the courtroom and declaring, "This is Sean Combs. To the public, he was Puff Daddy, Diddy, a cultural icon, a businessman, larger than life." But there was another side to him, a side that ran a criminal enterprise fueled by power and fear. She painted a chilling picture, alleging Diddy used his fame, wealth, and influence to lure women into what seemed like romantic relationships, but only to trap them in a web of coercion and abuse through drug-fueled sex parties called freak-offs. These weren't just wild nights, Johnson insisted. They were orchestrated crimes lasting days in hotel rooms, involving male prostitutes and women who were forced to perform under the influence of ketamine, ecstasy, GHB, and other drugs. And they were often laced without their knowledge to keep them obedient and compliant. She claims Diddy recorded these encounters, turning the videos into blackmail tools to ensure victims' silence, threatening to destroy their careers or expose their humiliation if they spoke out. Johnson outlined a 20-year crime spree from 2004 to 2024, accusing Diddy of kidnapping, arson, drug distribution, bribery, obstruction of justice, and sex crimes, all facilitated by his inner circle, bodyguards, assistants, execs, who allegedly enabled his empire of abuse. She zeroed in on specific victims, stating that Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, who Johnson said was loved by Diddy initially, but faced severe consequences if she disobeyed. Johnson went on to describe a 2016 incident where Diddy, enraged, went after Cassie because she was seeing another man. He hunted her down with a gun, beat her brutally, and flung her around like a rag doll in a Los Angeles hotel hallway. An assault captured on surveillance video that jurors will see. Yes, it's that video we've all seen. She alleged Diddy forced Cassie to have sex with male escorts, recording it to blackmail her, and made her live in fear that the videos would ruin her career. Johnson then introduced Jane, a single mother who met Diddy in 2020, and she fell in love, only to be coerced into a freak-off she thought was a one-time deal. Diddy allegedly refused to let an escort use condoms during sex with Jane. And when she vomited from the ordeal, he coldly said, "Go do it again." Johnson recounted a time Diddy, in a jealous rage, went to Jane's home, kicked down the door, and kicked her to the ground when she locked herself in rooms to escape. Now, there's another victim, Mia, a personal assistant that was allegedly sexually assaulted by Diddy, with Johnson promising Mia's testimony will detail the drama. Now, Johnson also mentioned an employee forced into an SUV at gunpoint and a chef who worked grueling hours not procuring food, but drugs for Diddy's parties. She emphasized Diddy's king mentality, saying he called himself the king and expected to be treated like one, using his vast resources to commit crime after crime. Johnson then promised jurors that they'd see hotel records, damage reports, text messages, the 2016 Cassie video, and physical evidence like drugs, guns, and the 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube found in Diddy's homes. Now, they're all tying him to the freak-offs. Her statement was a scorching indictment, framing Diddy as a predator who exploited trust and covered his tracks with his empire's power. The defense, well, it was led by Tenny Garagos, daughter of famed attorney Mark Garagos. Now, she countered with a nearly hour-long opening statement that was a fiery rebuttal, aiming to humanize Diddy and dismantle the prosecution's narrative. Garagos didn't dodge Diddy's flaws. She opened with a bold admission. We will not shy away from the things Mr. Combs did. He's a physical drug using person with a different sex life. She referenced the 1,000 bottles of baby oil found in his homes, quipping, is that a federal crime? No. Drawing a chuckle from the courtroom, but quickly pivoting to a serious defense. Garagos framed the case as about love, jealousy, infidelity, and money, not racketeering or trafficking, accusing prosecutors of twisting consensual relationships into a criminal conspiracy. She admitted Diddy's domestic violence, particularly in the 2016 Cassie assault, captured on video that we've all seen, calling it horrible, dehumanizing, violent, and terrible, but stressed it's not evidence of sex trafficking, it's evidence of domestic violence. Garagos argued that the 2016 incident stemmed from a fight over a phone, not trafficking, rooted in a toxic decade-long relationship between two people who loved each other. She claimed Cassie was a strong, capable woman who chose to stay with Diddy for 11 years, from 2007 to 2018. Not because she was coerced, but because it was the better choice as compared to leaving, and that she only exited the relationship when she realized Diddy would never marry her due to his bond with his late ex, Kim Porter. Garagos suggested mutual violence, saying there was hitting on both sides, implying that Cassie was not some helpless victim, but an active participant in a volatile romance. She challenged the prosecution's coercion narrative, asking jurors to consider whether strong women like Cassie could be forced into anything. A point that the judge, well, he questioned, noting that strong people can be coerced just like weak people. Now, Garagos turned to Jane, describing her as part of a toxic and dysfunctional relationship with Diddy, willingly engaging in hotel nights. Her term for freak offs, yes, she switched the term for freak offs to hotel nights because she wanted to spend time with him. Now, the fight that the prosecution highlighted where Diddy allegedly kicked Jane to the ground, well, Garagos claimed that it was sparked by Jane slamming Diddy's head in a jealous rage and framing it as mutual aggression, not trafficking. For Mia, the assistant alleging sexual assault, Garagos hinted at inconsistent stories and urged jurors to scrutinize her credibility. She attacked the accuser's motives, pointing to Cassie's $30 million civil lawsuit and another witness's $22 million breach of contract suit, asking, how many millions of reasons does this witness swearing to tell the truth have to lie? Garagos called the freak off videos intimate and consensual, not blackmail, and questioned why employees never reported abuse until now, suggesting financial gain. She portrayed Diddy as a swinger, not a predator, whose unconventional sex life was being demonized by the government. Garagos ended with a plea. You are the jury. Evaluate the witnesses. The full story will come out, promising jurors they'd see real-time communications proving consent, not crimes. Let's unpack the prosecution's ferocious opening because Emily Johnson didn't come to play. She came to bury Diddy. Her statement was a masterclass in storytelling, designed to shock the jury and cement Diddy as a calculated predator. By starting with Diddy's public persona, the cultural icon, the businessman, and contrasting it with the criminal enterprise, Johnson set up this Jekyll and Hyde narrative that's hard to shake. She's saying, you thought you knew Diddy, but you didn't know this. The focus on freak-offs as these coerced, drug-fueled nightmares was deliberate. It paints a vivid, disturbing picture of women trapped, unable to say no, with drugs like ketamine and GHB stripping their agency. Mentioning laced drugs was a gut punch, implying Diddy violated consent at the deepest level. The blackmail angle with recorded video, well, that adds a layer of sinister control, suggesting Diddy wasn't just abusive, but strategic, using fear and exposure to keep victims quiet. Johnson's emphasis on Cassie as a star witness is a big bet. The 2016 video of Diddy's assault is a visual anchor, something jurors can see, making it harder to dismiss. By detailing Cassie's beating, the gun, and the forced sex with escorts, Johnson's building an emotional case, hoping jurors will feel Cassie's fear. Bringing in Jane and Mia widens the net, showing a pattern of abuse across different women, a single mom, a personal assistant, making it clear this wasn't a one off. The Jane story, with no condoms, vomiting, and then kicking down doors, is particularly gruesome. And it was meant to show disgust to the jurors and show how Diddy is callous. Mentioning 20 years of crimes, the kidnapping, arson, bribery, well, it paints Diddy as a career criminal, not a flawed boyfriend. And implicating his inner circle suggests a conspiracy, which is key to the racketeering charge. Johnson's promise of texts, hotel records, and physical evidence like the baby oil is a signal to jurors. We've got receipts. Her king mentality line was a slam, framing Diddy as an arrogant and entitled person, someone who demanded obedience. This statement was a calculated strike, aiming to overwhelm jurors with the scope of Diddy's alleged evil and make them hungry for evidence. But it's risky. Piling on so many crimes could feel like it's overblown if the evidence doesn't match the rhetoric. And Cassie's testimony will need to absolutely deliver in order to back this up. Now let's dig into Tenny Garagos's marathon defense statement because it was clever, gutsy, and a move to flip the script. Garagos knew she couldn't ignore the Cassie video. It's just too damning. So instead, she leaned into it, admitting Diddy's domestic violence, but referring it as a relationship issue, not a federal crime. By calling the 2016 assault horrible, but tying it to a fight over a phone, she's trying to humanize the conflict, making it about two flawed people, not a predator and a victim. The mutual violence claim is a bold gamble. Saying Cassie hit back risks alienating jurors who see her as a victim. But it's meant to muddy the coercion narrative, suggesting that Cassie had agency. Garagos's line, "there was hitting on both sides," is a direct challenge to the prosecution's helpless victim story, and it's aiming to make jurors question Cassie's credibility. Framing the case as love, jealousy, and money, I gotta admit, it's smart. It turns a criminal indictment into a soap opera, something jurors can relate to. By emphasizing Cassie's 11-year stay with Diddy, Garagos is planting a seed. If it was so bad, why didn't she leave? The Kim Porter angle, particularly Cassie leaving because she wouldn't be Diddy's wife, adds a romantic motive, not a criminal one. For Jane, Garagos's toxic relationship spin and claim that Jane started the fight by slamming Diddy's head is another attempt to equalize blame, framing hotels nights as consensual choices, not forced acts or freak-offs. The Mia skepticism, hinting at inconsistent stories, well, it's a preview of the defense's plan to attack witness reliability. Garagos's money motive argument is her strongest card, pointing to Cassie's $30 million lawsuit and another's $22 million suit to suggest accusers are opportunists, not victims. Asking, how many millions of reasons do they have to lie, is a direct appeal to the jurors' cynicism, hoping that they'll see greed behind all of this testimony. The swinger lifestyle defense, calling freak-offs intimate and consensual, is a risky move, as it might alienate conservative jurors, but it's meant to normalize Diddy's behavior as a personal quirk, but not a crime. Garagos's focus on real-time communications is a promise of text and emails showing consent, which could be a game changer if they exist. Her final plea, "the full story will come out," is a call to jurors to stay open-minded, banking on witness cross-examinations to unravel the prosecution's entire case. This statement was a high-wire act, admitting Diddy's imperfections while denying criminality. but it hinges on discrediting accusers and selling the swinger story. The prosecution and defense are playing completely different games, and it's quite fascinating. Johnson's statement is a sledgehammer, piling on graphic allegations to shock and awe the jury, betting that Cassie's story and visual evidence like that 2016 video will sway emotions. She's going for a broad conspiracy, linking multiple victims and crimes to make Diddy seem as though he's untouchable, which is powerful, but it risks overcomplicating the case. If jurors feel overwhelmed or that the evidence falls short, it could backfire. Now, Garagos, on the other hand, is playing chess, making strategic concessions like the Cassie assault to build trust with jurors, then redirecting blame to the accuser's motives and relationship dynamics. Her love and jealousy frame is a relatable hook, but the mutual violence claim could possibly alienate jurors who see it as victim blaming. Johnson's evidence heavy approach with the text, the videos, baby oil feels more tangible, while Garagos's promise of communications is a tease that certainly needs to deliver. The prosecution's king mentality jab, well, that paints Diddy as arrogant, which could stick, but Garagos's millions of reasons line taps into jury skepticism about lawsuits. Johnson's 20-year scope, it's ambitious and it's aiming to show a pattern. But Garagos's narrow focus on specific incidents, like the phone fight, makes the case feel less sprawling. Both sides are betting on jurors' emotions. Johnson wants outrage, Garagos wants doubt. The prosecution's strength is its vivid storytelling, but it's vulnerable, especially if witnesses like Cassie don't hold up. Now, the defense's strength is its reliability, but it's fragile if evidence and coercion piles up. These statements are like opening moves in a chess match, setting the tone for a very, very brutal fight. The opening statements are crucial because they're the first impression jurors get, and they frame how the evidence will land. Johnson's criminal enterprise narrative is a high bar. She's got to prove systematic coercion, not just bad behavior, which means Cassie, Jane, and Mia need to be rock solid on the stand. Her blackmail and drug lacing claims are explosive. But if jurors don't see clear proof, like text ordering drugs or videos showing the coercion, well, they might just doubt the whole grand conspiracy itself. Now, Garagos's consent defense is a tightrope. Admitting violence and drug use makes Diddy look flawed, but she's betting jurors will see the flaws, not felonies. The money motive argument is powerful, especially in a world where lawsuits are common, but it also risks offending jurors who empathize with victims. Her toxic relationship spin could resonate with jurors who've seen messy romances, but it's a hard sell if multiple women testify to similar abuse. Then Garagos's swinger defense, it might normalize Diddy's lifestyle for some, but others might find it repulsive, especially with graphic testimony coming. The mutual violence claim, well, I think it's her riskiest move. If jurors see Cassie as a battered woman, it could backfire badly. Both sides are playing to the jurors' biases. Johnson's banking on outrage at power abuse, Garagos on skepticism of accusers. The statement's impact depends on the jurors' beliefs. Are they more likely to see a predator or a flawed man? Now, these opening statements are like movie trailers, hyping what's to come. But the real test is whether the evidence is going to match the hype. Here's where it gets absolutely nuts. The prosecution's secret weapon, that 2016 Cassie video, is a slam dunk for Emily Johnson, showing Diddy's violence in real time. But Tenny Garagos turned it into a weapon for the defense, admitting it's dehumanizing, but spinning it as a lover's quarrel, not some big trafficking scheme. This is a bold move that can either geniusly neutralize the video's impact or crash and burn, especially if jurors see it as excusing abuse. Meanwhile, Garagos's millions of reasons jab at Cassie's $30 million lawsuit is a sneaky attack, planting doubt about witnesses' motives right out the gate. This clash of narratives about this crime lord versus jealous exes is a ticking time bomb, and the jury's reaction will decide everything. The opening statements in Diddy's trial are a masterclass in persuasion, showing how narrative shapes truth. Emily Johnson's criminal enterprise story is a call to justice, using graphic details to spark outrage and paint Diddy as a monster. Tenny Garagos's love and money counterpunch is a plea for doubt, admitting Diddy's flaws, but is to make him seem relatable while casting accusers as opportunists. Both sides are fighting for the jury's heart and mind, knowing these first words will color every piece of evidence. The lesson? In a courtroom, stories matter just as much as facts. And whoever tells the better tell, whether it's the predator or the flawed lover, well, they could win. We should care where this lands because this is about the truth versus spin. And the jury's choice will decide if justice or skepticism prevails. This is our window into how powerful narratives shape reality. All right, we've said a lot here, but let's wrap this up. Today, the Sean Diddy Combs trial ignited with opening statements that were pure fire. Prosecutor Emily Johnson slammed Diddy as a criminal kingpin, alleging 20 years of coerced freak-offs, drug lacing, and blackmail, with Cassie, Jane, and Mia as proof of his evil. Defense attorney Tenny Garagos countered, admitting domestic violence, but framing it as love, jealousy, and money, not trafficking, and calling accusers money hungry. These dueling stories, the predator versus the swinger, are the trial's first battle, and the jury's listening. If this blows your mind, smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you are hooked to all the drama. And also, drop a comment. Who's winning so far in your mind? The prosecution or defense? Although this is just opening statements, it is said to be believed that there will actually be witness testimony today. So make sure you're following me because I will be dropping that news as soon as I get it. And you are not going to want to miss any of those details.